I hit this record button. So what's up, fellas? What's going on?
What's good?
So we here to talk about how we can be better men.
Facts.
What do you think about that?
I mean, it's just, we have to set a higher standard for ourselves. I think a lot of times, we hear the narrative of, niggas ain't shit, we're this, we're that. And we kind of, a lot of times, like, men use it as a cop-out. It's like, well, if you don't expect anything from me, I don't got to do nothing. So, I think it really starts with knowledge yourself and then valuing yourself.
I agree with that a lot, and I think because I think it's important. That cop-out part is really important because I have a lot of my friends as well who's like, well, it don't matter what I do, I'm always in trouble. It don't matter what I'm do, you know what I mean? The teacher always gonna hate me, the coach always gonna hate me, whatever the case may be. So I definitely hear you on that one. And when I hear the question like, what do men need to do to be better? I think a big part of it is listening. Like, women are telling us what we need to do to be better. Like they're doing it on Instagram, they're doing it on Twitter, they're doing it to our face. Like they're telling us in 1,000 ways how we need to be better. And I think a big part of it is just listening.
Okay. So you think that's an acceptable means for a man to get the insight? You don't think a man has it within himself? It's just,
sure.
I kind of feel like we need to take, I feel like as a man, that's part of being a man. Like, we need to take the initiative to kind of like define, ourselves and set a higher bar for ourselves. I don't think, no one else should be doing it. If anything, I think it's a travesty that women feel like they need to do like that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. How about you, Chaz? What you think?
I'm kind of at this point where I think that as men we need to. I'm like you. We need to look within ourselves to really understand what's going on. Reason being, I think that oftentimes it's so easy to look at sort of the external. You know what I mean? We know they exist, right? We know the external exists. These pressures against us, these oppressions against us. Somebody else telling us what we need to do, but I think the reality is that it starts with self. It starts within. Everybody can say we can be what we are. But even us all, everybody now, we all individuals. So it's like we got to understand that sort of concept. Look within yourself and really figure out what's going on with you. Deal with what's going on inside of you, because you're the only one that's going to determine your future.
All right. Well, I feel like you guys all kind of hit on some of it. We got to figure this out.
So I agree with the look within yourself. But at the same time, I think that's an issue that women have with us. It's like we keep looking to ourselves and they're trying to do it with us. Because men have we're very predatorial. We're very I gotta get it on my own. And a lot of times people around us are like, no, let's work together. You know what I mean? Like, that's why to me, friendship is one of the greatest things in the world, because it's this idea of together we're going to get through this, right? Your joys and my sorrows, we're gonna share them together. So I don't know. I think for me, it's a combination of both, and I think sometimes we look too much inward, where really just around us help us.
Towards the end, I kind of lost you a little bit.
At the end.
So guys, to kind of help us and keep a theme, actually, me and DJ talked a few weeks back. Who's the echo coming from?
Like I was telling you, this is what I was trying to tell you. You have to mute everybody because the echo is coming from your voice coming through somebody else's. So they're hearing you, but it's coming through somebody else's phone. There's a chat function
where you can
Gotcha.
raise your hand if you need something to say, but everybody got to be muted. It only can be one speaker, or it's going to always do that.
Got you. Sorry. One mic. All right, so I was saying a few weeks back, actually, me and my man DJ was kind of talking on Twitter a little bit about some things, and it probably was a conversation like you're saying, Mikey, around again, men and not behaving, correctly and setting a poor example for themselves. And I will be honest, I had to kind of fine tune our words a little bit to make it more appropriate. But he hit me with 4 pillars, and I want to make sure that I give him the credit, you know what I mean? Because it did come from him. And I kind of, shaved them down a little bit, but the pillars are these. We started with knowledge of self, you know what I'm saying, a self-discovery. From there, we're going to talk about value of self, or self-worth. All right? From there, we're going to talk about discipline. Within discipline, we're going to talk about, healthy habits. And we are going to spend a little time discussing, our priorities and shifting them from, only sexual needs. And lastly, we're going to talk about accountability, because that's the reason why all 4 of us here are talking. Because I feel like a real part of men being together is just that. We need to be more accountable. You know what I'm saying? It's so easy to mess up. I feel like we just let each other mess up and do the wrong thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, so many times people have done the wrong thing and it was just somebody like, yo, bro, chill, stop. That simple. So with that being said, I'm going to try to unmute you. Who wants to talk first about knowledge of self? Can y'all? I got to look in it. Thank you. I see it. Yo, this is like a teacher for real, man.
All right, you hear me?
Yeah, clear.
All right, cool. So, knowledge of self, it's not even just like solely a man thing. That's just everybody. Everybody needs to know who they are. Like, you need to define and redefine yourself. I think pretty much like you grow up being told what you are. You're this, you're that. You're never going to be this, or you're always going to be this. They'll set these expectations and stuff like that. But at some point, you got to realize, I was born alone. I'm going to die alone. I need to write my own story. I need to be the narrator of my own, my own legacy. And once you do that, you really start to just really figure out yourself. Like, obviously you can take bits and pieces from like your friends that like, yo, you be tripping when you do that, or like, I really like how you do that, and kind of piece it together to like who you really are. But it's definitely like a lot of inner work that a lot of people are afraid to do. And a lot of times, we jump into relationships with people to kind of like put that off on them. Like, yeah, she'll fix me. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. Like, we need to stop doing that, because that's one of the biggest reasons why, there's so much angst against men now, with the women, is because they feel like they got to raise niggas. Like, we're not an incubator for you to stop being a piece of shit. So, it's about us doing the work for ourselves to just be better men.
So I guess to be more constructive, can you tell me, what does that look in your life? What does that work look like for you? What have you done to help get you there? I got it. Damn, man, this is annoying. Yeah, I should have stayed on my computer for all this, G.
Yeah, what that looks like is just, a lot of reading, a lot of studying, a lot of meditating, and just really just like sitting there with yourself and your own thoughts. I did a lot of that.
Can you tell me some things you studied?
I studied the book I told you about, Way to Superior Man.
Great book, by the way. Great book.
Yeah. The Rational Male. What else? Like Think and Grow Rich. And a lot of times, like, that's all fine and dandy, but like, you get the most game from yourself when you just sit there in silence meditating. And you let your mind wander. And you kind of like question, like, certain things you do. Like, okay, why did I do that? Like, it's just really like questioning yourself. Like, how, like, when you talk to somebody, you say, I really want to, I'm trying to get to know you. But we know what that really means. But like, you really get to know yourself. Like, you really get to question yourself, study yourself, figure out, like, why did I, like, just the stuff that you do. Like, I'm polo down right now. Why do I like wearing polo? You know what I'm saying? Because my pops used to get that for me, like, way back when. And, that was a bug that was implanted in my ear, and I just kept going with it. So it was just like, thinking about why you do what you do, and seeing if that's what you want to continue doing. Because a lot of people are just
I like
riding
that.
around on autopilot.
I like that one. I like that one. I know one book that I read for me that was monumental, and I think all men should read it. Is the autobiography of Malcolm X. If you actually look over here,
Big fact.
I have some of his quotes on the wall. You know what I mean? Just because I need a reminder sometimes. You know what I mean? Of why I do what I do. You know what I mean? And why the stands we got to take. You know what I'm saying? And the most important thing about that book is just transformation. I think a lot of times in life, we can make mistakes and we start to become those mistakes. And that's not fair, you know what I'm saying? Because you're not your mistakes. We all make them. And what's so beautiful about the story of Malcolm X is you see a man that's made some of the worst mistakes ever become one of the most powerful men we've ever known. Wisest and greatest, in my opinion. He was once quoted as the spirit of the black man. And they say that when he died, it died with him, you know? So who else has got? Oh, you got some points? Let me got you. Let me you on?
Yeah,
Can't
I'm
y'all
on.
unmute yourselves?
No, so basically the function was sort of like it'll echo if everybody on at the same time. But I'm with Dwayne as well, like sort of this you know what I'm saying, looking within yourself to really kind of get right. Personally for me, just being 100, like the best thing that ever been for me was going to counseling, going to therapy, because it was a lot of bottled up emotions in there that I feel like I needed to really, really like let out. Also, I think that, but so I'm a challenge you on the Malcolm X point. Malcolm X, definitely one of my favorites, but Malcolm X was hella conflicted.
Yes, he was.
I think that Malcolm X was literally one of my favorites, but I feel like when we watch and we learn his story, he went through so much that he had to carry the burden, you know what I mean, within himself. You know what I'm saying? He never really talked to anybody about it, you know what I mean? So I think that it's important for us to yes, look within ourselves, and The Way of the Superior Man is a fire fucking book. But at the same time, like that shit cold. But that's literally my favorite book. But it's like at some point, you gotta let somebody know what's going on. And I think a lot of times, like, we don't do that, like, or we it's learned behavior that we don't do that. I was gonna ask somebody else too, because I see on my screen, I see Mikey, I see Dwayne, I see a bunch of people. Like, it's a function on the chat function where you can raise your hand too if you got to chime in. But I definitely think that we got to work within self. Is not just reflecting and within ourselves. Like, I really been sold on fucking with therapy, because it's if you get the right therapist, because it's a space really, that's a fact right there. But if you get the right therapist, like where you can fully be yourself. And I'm gonna be real with y'all, like I haven't fully been myself in a while until now, where I can honestly say this makes me insecure, this makes me this and that. And when you get to that spot and you get to that place, like it's a powerful fucking thing. It ain't fun, but it's a powerful thing when you get to that place where you can say, damn, I'm gonna be 1,000. I really don't like this and I don't know why. And I think you don't even know why. You like, why the fuck I don't like, when I was telling this shorty, bro, I'm gonna shut up after this, but I was telling this shorty, I'm like, it was something she was doing and I didn't really like it, and I didn't really know how to, I didn't even know why. I was just like, it's doing that I don't like. It bothers me. So I think we got to get to that point where we understand what's going on.
And to be honest, you're kind of starting to hit on something that I thought I was going to get to later. But when it comes to following, knowledge yourself, I think that also has a real effect on how we deal with women. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of times, I feel like it's really hard to love somebody when you ain't really loving yourself. And if you don't have a true understanding of who you are, I don't think you can truly ever really love yourself. Mikey, bro, I got you. I know you been trying to chime in too. Oh, so if you raise your hand, I can unmute you easier. Yo, I'm acting really old right now. It's terrible.
Yo, so nah. To the counseling point, like I can't retweet that, whatever word you want to use that enough. Like counseling does a lot for people. Like after I had crossed, like I had a chance to go to counseling, and that shit like, and it saved my life. Like just being able to talk to somebody about everything I was feeling and I was going on, and everything like that. And to your point, like you got to find the right therapist. It's about fit. You know what I mean? Thankfully, the therapist I found, she was Black, she was a Delta, so I was able to she was able to understand where I was coming from, things I was feeling and stuff like that. So I really appreciated that.
So, bro, I actually feel you on that, man. I actually recently started therapy myself right before the actually at the start of the whole pandemic. I found a Black therapist as well. Right here at UNC Chapel Hill, man. And it took me a minute as well because I knew because I've used therapy in the past, but I know like if you don't go to the right person, it don't feel right. So I was like kind of on guard for a second, man. So I feel you on that. Finding that right fit, and for the people that don't know, what you're looking for is somebody that builds rapport with you. You know what I mean? You wanna find a therapist that it feels natural. Like you don't feel pressured. You actually should wanna get things off your chest. You don't want someone that's making you feel like they're crying because you didn't come here to be investigated. You came here for peace. You came here for understanding. All right.
Yeah. So when you talked about the whole idea of like knowledge of self, discovery of self, there's this theory I learned in grad school that like I think about it all the time. Is this concept of self-authorship. So when someone so when someone is around, like it's about the age of like 18 to 22, but it literally can span someone's whole lifetime. So in the first phase, it's like following formulas. You're doing what the people ahead of you have told you what to do. So that's your parents, your pastor, your coaches, grandparents, whatever it is. You follow the same political party as them, same religion. You play the sports they tell you to. Like you do whatever they tell you to, right? Then you reach crossroads where something happens in your life, some like stimulus phenomena happens that challenges everything you've ever believed in. For most people, this is when they go to college and their roommate is gay and they realize gay people aren't bad. You know what I mean? Or if it's a white person, they meet a Black person, they realize, oh shit, all Black people aren't drug dealers. So something happens that challenges everything they've ever believed before. So then you at that crossroads, you're like, all right, do I subscribe to who I was before? Or do I just go in this new direction, to this new person, right? And that's when you start to reach becoming the author of one's life, where you're now like you're making your own decisions, you're making your own beliefs. You still don't really know what you want out of life, but you know that like you weren't where you were before. And I think for a lot of men, we're in a lot of us are still in like following formulas. Like we're still cheating on our girlfriends because our big homie from we was younger told us, you don't trust these hoes. Or like we're listening to rap songs, whatever the case may be. And obviously not everybody, but you know, I mean, it's a good portion of men. So I think a lot of us need.
Okay. Talking to the mic, I don't need the mic. I just said I wanted to hold up on the whole. You got a section.
Oh yeah.
Hashtag Black men don't cheat. Anyway, yeah, knowledge of self is definitely important, and you know the therapist thing, I've kind of been holding off on that, and I really need to do it. I've been, especially now that I think about it, I've kind of been an unofficial therapist for like pretty much all of my friends, and therapists I'm sure definitely probably need the most therapy for keeping it a buck. So yeah, definitely finding someone that you can open up to is definitely important, just in general. But definitely like to like really get into like the nitty gritty of like who you are. That's definitely important, and definitely a big part of like, you know, knowledge itself and just being a better person. Like you'll find out stuff about yourself that you didn't even realize. Like, oh wait, damn, I'm crazy, or you know, whatever it is. Like, so definitely, I'm definitely an advocate for therapy, and especially like couples therapy if you're really trying to go all the way with shorty. And I'm done talking.
Absolutely. And I was gonna tell you, man, I'm training to become a therapist. I don't recommend being yours because we have a conflict there, but I could definitely be a sample for you to make sure you're getting somebody legit. Yeah. Wait, did you? Oh, you're not muted. Okay, I thought you were. So honestly, before we continue on, I guess to value yourself, I wanted to make sure, was there any other lasting points you guys wanted to hit on? Any other amazing books to read? I know for me, some books that have been transformational for me have been Ego is the Enemy. I'm kind of still reading it, but no, Ego is the Enemy. I actually did complete. I finished that when I'm reading Range. But Ego is the Enemy kind of talks a lot about how, like, you know, you do things out of this, again, the ego, how when you really think about it, it's not logical. It makes no sense. We hit on Think and Grow Rich. That book that's an amazing book. I actually read that once a year. When I read that book, it really changed the way I thought about money. I wish I would have read it a whole lot sooner when I was in high school. But yeah, if you guys have nothing else for that, man, I'm gonna go ahead and continue on to value yourself. Value yourself, your self-worth. You know, a lot of times I feel like if you have, you know, like real value to yourself, I feel like you're not gonna allow yourself to be in certain places. You're just not gonna do certain things. You're not gonna tolerate it. And I don't mean that like you're gonna be like a thug or, you know, some wild stuff, but like just like, you know, a level of decency for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Some pride, like real pride. And I'm not talking foolish pride. DJ, you want to talk on this?
Yeah. Oh shit, I'm not muted. Anyway, yeah, definitely. Having value itself is like when you realize, like, you know, not to get super, you know, extra, but like, yo, you look in the mirror and you see a king, you go act different as opposed to you look in the mirror, you see everything that your father, you know, you see your father's mistakes, you see your mother's abuse, you see all this other stuff. Like when you look in the mirror, you see a king, you see what you're gonna be, you see that you're great, you see that you're destined for greatness, and everything around you, everything you touch, you got that Midas touch. You just carry yourself different. You know what I'm saying? Like once, and again, that's why analysis itself is so important, because when you know who you are, you know your limitations, you know how to push those limitations, you know how to expand your territory. So that's why you know yourself first, and then you put yourself to the test. And when you put yourself to that test, you can appraise yourself as you're going through it. And, you know, again, like once you value, because I'm just thinking about all the ridiculous, good bad things I did with my friends. And
so
we really did not. Go ahead.
I kind of, and it's funny, we talked about, you know, the need of, you know, therapy and knowledge yourself, but I actually believe therapy is so official here because this is where in therapy you start to establish that value. You know what I'm saying? Because you're going to talk about the things you did with your friends, why you did them, you know what I mean? Those thoughts in the back of your head, you know what I'm saying? Like for me, I'll put myself out here for a long time. I've been really nervous with my voice, you know what I mean? Like so much anxiety around speaking out. You know what I mean? Speaking how I feel, I always feel like just a nervousness about it. You know what I'm saying? And I had to work through that in therapy. Like, why do you feel so like afraid? Like, what are you doing? What do you really think you're saying that's wrong? And I'm like, I don't know, but it's like, why are people always so resistant to me? And it's like, after a while, you realize you don't have to worry about that's their problem. You know what I'm saying? You got to control what you are. You can't let others control you. But again, if you don't have that true value, you're going to constantly be a drone, or like you said, be on autopilot and let other people control your actions. Oh, you gotta really put your hand up in this joint, then I can unmute you. Hold on, I got you. You're making it hard for me, but I got you.
No, word. Y'all been preaching, like for real. Cause I was like, damn, I'm feeling that shit. But I was thinking like when I've been learning, I've been at therapy, right? And my therapist said this, and I want to say this. Self evolves. Meaning the self you are right now, you might not be the same self you know what I'm saying? So this work is constant. You know what I mean? This work is constant. Like it's a never ending. And that's the part I really didn't understand, because we live in a world where people kind of talk about, really, you know, we look on social media, right? And people talking about, I want somebody that's healed. I want somebody that shit is lifelong. So it's not that there's no healing. The healing it's in phases. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Like you might heal from something else and then experience some new shit. And then it's like, damn, now I got to heal from this. And I feel like, just being real with y'all, I feel like when we talk about Black men, sometimes we don't get the benefit of the doubt. Sometimes it's, I healed from this. Now let me work on this shit here. You know what I'm saying? Let me work on, it's a step-by-step process. It's a long process. And I think that when I know we gonna get to relationships and shit like that, but when we even platonic relationships, friendships, like damn, bro, I did this fuck shit. But all right, we good now. Now let me get to my next level. Let me get to my next step so I can, you know what I'm saying, be a better friend in school or wherever you at, in work. I'm trying to get to these phases, these levels. And I feel like you got so many selves operating at so many times. It's like, it's hard sometimes and you don't even realize, like, damn, I'm never, the sad reality, but real reality is you ain't gonna never really be like, damn, bro, I'm walking around this bitch healed as fuck. That shit don't exist. You know what I'm saying? You gotta, it's gonna be every.
Can I challenge you on something there? Can I challenge?
Yeah,
what would it take for that to exist?
It doesn't, dog. And I think
No. Time out. I know you said it doesn't. I'm saying, what would it take for it to exist?
Oh, in a dream world?
Let it be a dream. It was all a dream.
I used to read Word Up magazines. Like, I think that in the dream world, bro, we ain't gonna, you know what? I'm gonna be real. I don't even think it's a dream world. I think it's if your friends and the people around you sort of understand if we understood that, if I looked at you and I said, man, I had a problem when you did this, if we forgave a little more and said, you know what I'm saying, we understand the context. Like, I understand what happened and I wasn't fucking with, but I understand the context. And I think that once we start understanding the context of people, bro, that shit is mind-boggling. There's people that I talk to now in this process of healing that I'm like, dog, the old me would have been like, man, move your ass around. Hey, get out of my face. But now it's like, I try to understand the context of people. And when you understand that, I don't see you that like, all right, I ain't really messing with you like on that, but I'm gonna try to get there.
I feel you, man. Yo, Mike, you want to chime in a little? Yo, how come DJ the only one that raises his hand and I ain't gotta go to the joint and scream, man? I should use my computer. I ain't know.
I'm not even raising my hand. It says I'm raising my hand. I can't hear nothing you're saying right now.
Yeah, like Dwayne, you gotta like press the like lower your hand button.
Oh, so my hand has been up the whole time.
Yeah. Like you that person that's raising your hand for the bathroom all class.
Yeah, like you ain't getting no more passes, man. You ain't getting no more passes.
Damn, my bad. That's selfish as fuck.
I heard like the sentiment of like there's so many like different parts of you going on and stuff like that. I was like, yo, that's real as hell, because it's like, because the way I think about it is like one part of me can take a step forward, right? But then the other part of me is still like 16 years old. So like you got all these different parts of you, and it's like somebody else had said before, you're never fully yourself because it never feels comfortable. You know what I mean? Like you never really feel completely accepted. So I always think about these things in relation to others because I spend a lot of time in my own head. So I'm always thinking about like in relation to others, how do I come off, or how do I sound, things like that. And it's like when I know when certain parts of me I'm just not comfortable sharing yet because I feel like they haven't really been developed. They're still childlike.
No, man, I definitely feel you guys with the therapy part, man, and the package and all that. And also realize just just as you get through life, you know what I mean? Not even just things that happen in your childhood, but Justin at 21 and Justin at 25, Justin at 30 and Justin at now 34. There's a lot that changes in those years, you know what I'm saying? The minds change. Like I said, reading books, you know what I mean? My mind frame expanding. One of the things that I loved about reading books for me is I find myself, the thoughts I have in my head that I feel like no one understands. When I find an author that's talking to it, it's like I knew I wasn't crazy. This is a bestseller. you know what I mean? I was thinking this, you know what I mean? So it inspires me. And that's what really got me into reading. And before I had therapy, man, books were very therapeutic. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes you got to do what you got to do. And like I said, you know, books, man, I cannot stress them enough, man. Also, when we think of self-worth, man, you know, it's not just our mind. We also need to take care of our bodies, man. I can't stress that enough right now with everything going on. And I'm trying to keep it positive, but again, these healthy practices, you know what I'm saying? Going to the gym, you know what I mean? You know, getting them endorphins going, you know, health, yoga, you know what I mean? All these, you know, meditation, all these ways to get your mind free. Go ahead, Doc.
Yeah, you started talking about like health and all that, and it's like, and there's
Yeah,
one
I was
thing
waiting
that
to get you in. I was waiting to get you in. Talk to me,
nah,
man.
health is wealth. Health is wealth, and like, but one thing I can't stress enough is like at your own pace. Like I know like a lot of people, like male, female, non-binary, whatever the case may be, is like they go on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, whatever it is, and they see someone else's body, and they're like, "Yo, why am I not there?" Right? And it's just like, bro, at your own pace.
Talk to me.
If you walk down the block today and that was more than what you did yesterday, shit, even if that's what you did yesterday, that's fine. Like, you got outside. Like, to some people, getting up is an accomplishment because that depression be hitting. So it's like, give yourself some credit for whatever you do. If it's adding some spinach to your meal or some broccoli, do whatever you do to, you know, make yourself feel good. Like,
Team,
give
I don't want to
yourself
cut you
credit.
off, but I just wanted to plug something I learned the other day, and I kind of talked about it on the Hip Hop Professor Instagram, man. And it's the productivity versus efficiency, and how sometimes we focus way too much on being productive and not enough time on being efficient. I was listening to a webinar, and a gentleman was saying, if you really base your day on how many balls you can juggle, you're not being productive, you're being a clown. You know what I'm saying? What if the efficient thing was for you only to do two things, you know what I'm saying, but you did them at such a high level of quality? That's fine. You know what I mean? Like, I think, you know, especially with this pandemic thing going on, again, I think we focus way too much on trying to get 8 hours in the day. And that's just not fair. It's just not real. But hey, brother, I didn't want to take over.
Nah, you 100% right. Like, I don't know if y'all. I live by quotes and stuff like that, and I can't remember which martial artist it was. It was either Bruce Lee or whoever it was, and he said, like, I'm paraphrasing right now, but he's like, I'm more afraid of the person that practiced one kick 10,000 times than that person that practices 10,000 different kicks. So it's that concept of like quality over quantity, and like you said, if you're just juggling mad, you know, tennis balls all day long, like, you're not really doing anything productive. Like, focus on one skill that's actually going to do something for you. Put some good time into that, a good hour, 2 hours in a day, and you valid. You did a great day.
And again, and this kind of goes back to value itself.
Yeah.
Is that an echo? Yeah, I think that's on you. Got it. Yeah. So again, when you're training, when you're doing anything, you know, go at your own pace. Stop looking at other people and doing and worrying about what they're doing, because then you don't have no value in yourself. You got value in them. You know what I'm saying? You are your own rubric. You know what I'm saying? Only you can do you. You know what I mean? Like when you're out here looking at someone else all day, and listen, it's the difference between inspiration and, you know, and insatiation. You know what I'm saying? There's a little difference. I made that word up, but I know it makes sense. You know what I'm saying? There's a little difference there. You know what I mean? By being inspired by somebody and then by, you know, going insane trying to be them. You know what I mean? You can never be somebody else. You can only do you. You know? I know when I used to really, really weight train hard, I used to really, really be insane with the rock. You know what I mean? I used them for quotes. But as I was getting into my workout, as I was getting my gains, as you call it, I started to get more happy with just looking at myself, because I remember when people told me, you know, I have a body type that can't look a certain way. It's not in my genetic. You know what I'm saying? And then one day I came in the house and was like, hey, mommy, a six-pack. You thirsty? I did it. You know what I'm saying? Because nobody thought I could ever do that. I was always going to be a fat boy. Not true. You know what I'm saying? Got you.
I was looking, there's a question in this chat function for somebody participating. Journal, it says, and I wanted to ask you all too. She said, listening to you gentlemen talk made me think of the differences between men and women, and how a lot of Black women started going to therapy while in college or their early 20s to work on becoming whole. Why do you think it has taken you guys into your 30s to start the healing process? So since I'm here, I was going to talk. I'm 26. I'm not in my 30s, but
I started going to therapy in my 20s as well.
yeah, I think that might be a misconception, but but I will say that y'all also, and this might be a little harsh, but there's a lot of stigma for men. A lot of stigma for men going to counseling. So a lot of men, not just Black men, a lot of men in general, statistically, don't go because there's so much stigma. You know how much I dealt with, and I know some of these brothers who go can relate. Like, when you say you going to therapy, people act like you crazy. Like, it's like they completely avoid you. Now, if I'm trying to link with a shorty and I tell her I'm in counseling, she like, ooh, it's like a red flag all of a sudden, like, you know, so it's like that. And also we can talk about access, because not just, now I'm talking about Black women and Black men. A lot of us, not all of us, I learned that the hard way, but not all of us, or a lot of us come from poverty. So when you talk about access to like mental health counseling and things like that, a lot of people you can't even get it. And then when you're trying to get it, it's these free services or something you have to pay for. And so when you talk about it's a privilege sort of to be college educated and or even having college access, you know, those resources that are available in college, or whether you work in somewhere and you have health insurance included in your contract, or these things are privileges that a lot of people don't have. I know a lot of people back home that ask me about counseling right now from where I grew up that just can't go. It costs. And then let's be real, you getting what you pay for. Like, if you can go and get the motherfucker that's cold, and think of some of these celebrities, like, I'm like, yo, that shit would never, like, they getting some of the, you know what I'm saying, some of the top people. You talking about $50,000 to see a person that's gonna make you whole. I'm thinking about an artist right now. Kevin Gates said he spent $200,000 for a new perspective.
Well, Chaz, let me just challenge you though. Just because your therapist doesn't charge $200,000 or $50,000 does not mean they're not significant. Because I promise you this, when I start practicing, I will be an amazing counselor, and I don't think I'm going to be able to charge that much out the gate. I will also say, I'll also give some more pushback. There is a lot more access coming, but you are correct. It is still not enough. When we think about just school counselors, for example, you know, the standards that have been mandated for school counselors and education system is 250 students per counselor. I think that's still insane. But guess what? Most counselors do not even have that. They're dealing with 500, 600 kids per counselor. So, you know, as much as I like to be critical of the education system, I also know, like, let's be real. How much can you really ask of people? You know what I'm saying? And it's not fair. None of it is. But again, it's like we are trying to fix the hole in the boat with Scotch tape. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, again, on a positive, there are a lot of people starting their own mental health service, you know, clinics that are, you know, going into schools, providing school-based services. I actually saw that this year when I was working. You know, so there is help out there. It's not. I know it's never fast enough, but it's out there, man. And I really encourage my brothers to think about it, because I feel like we didn't have counseling, but we kind of did. You know what I'm saying? At the bus stop. You know what I'm saying? You know, the blocks and whatever. You know, the basketball courts. You know, some of us did huddle together. You know, we may not have given each other all the best information, but we did give each other something, because we made it this far, and we all know people that didn't make it this far. So I want to salute, you know, all the people that helped me get this far, and you know, that support. But yes, the need for counseling is needed, and you know, to answer the young lady, you know, another thing is parents really sometimes aren't that comfortable with their children exposed to it because of fear of what they're gonna say. You know what I'm saying? So it's hard to, you know, that self-worth. You know, again, like Mikey was saying earlier with the self-authorship, it's, you know, it takes a while for us to even get comfortable to want to find our own value because we're still stuck, you know, trying to detach and reestablish.
Yeah. And yeah, no, I definitely agree with you. I have an amazing counselor, but I'm a push back too to say it's still of a little amount of access right there.
Oh yeah.
And
No,
like,
I'm not. Yeah. It's no. That actually wasn't pushback. I was just trying to highlight.
oh no, you know how we rock.
But I think my man DJ want to get in here too.
Go ahead.
All right, so I am 30-something, and like I didn't even like the whole concept of therapy. I only saw it in cartoons. Like Animaniacs, Tiny Toons, stuff like that. And you know, they were just people that were just off the wall. So automatically, that stigma was already imprinted into my mind as a youth. And then I'm thinking about like the guidance counselor. Only time I saw my guidance counselor was just like a mandatory thing, like, oh, what do you want to do after school? I wasn't going there on the regular, and they don't even assign you for like if it's a good fit. They assign you by your last name. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like they don't care about that. We never really had that whole. We never saw a good example of an actual, you know. It's just we never had the example. We never had the rules. So now, you know, now that wall is broken down, and it's becoming more popularized, and not just, you know, the therapists that just give you a bunch of antidepressants or whatever, just tell you keep it pushing. Like actually, like having you sit down, unpack your demons, and like look at them in the eye. Like, all right, yeah, all right, man.
Hey, we can't be giving bad information. You know what I'm saying? The therapist is not going to give you no medication. Only a psychiatrist does that. You know what I mean? And also another thing, when you go for therapy, you can tell somebody, I don't want no medication. Like, you don't have to take it. I've been to therapy, and I told them straight up, I don't need no pills. I can handle what's with me. That's what I'm here to talk to you about. You know what I'm saying? I don't need nothing else. Thank you very much. And that's it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got you. I'm just
Oh yeah,
I
no,
know
you good.
I know several people that have had therapy and like they have like bad therapists. It's just like, yeah, I was just talking to my therapist, and you know, I just sat there and cried for like 30 minutes, and then like they charge you. I'm just like, what are you doing right now? Like, I mean, I'm granted, I'm sure that was a healthy release, but you could have did that in your car. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to like, you know, drop bands for that. So, but you know, to answer the question though, like, yeah, like the whole concept of therapy, like I didn't realize that until like an adult. So
this is true.
There's that.
Yeah. I mean, and if people don't just go and cry. There's probably a lot more that happened that you didn't get to. You know what I mean? I remember, you know, me and Chad was rapping the other day, and I told him like, yo, I spoke in therapy about something I ain't talked about in like 20-some years, and I told him, I was like, bro, I ain't never got this off my chest before. I don't know how to feel right now, but you know, I just trust you. I know another thing, a lot of men protecting. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to talk about things because you want to protect other people. You don't want no judgment. You know what I'm saying? Because I know for me, yo, I fight for my family. I take a lot of pride in, you know, my name, my family, and all that. So, you know, sometimes you don't want to talk about things because you're worried about how someone else is going to interpret it. And this is why also culturally sensitive counsel. And you can be white and be culturally sensitive. You know what I'm saying? You're going to need to go through some good training for it. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if some of these places are actually doing it good, but you get the right training. Yes, I do concur that you can be a white therapist, psychiatrist, and yes, you can be culturally sensitive. You just have to really put forth thoughtful, real effort.
No, I was gonna say, first, the question at hand, I do want to say this. You're not wrong for asking that question, because the fact of the matter is, like, a lot of men don't get counseling. So the question at hand is relevant, and I encourage you to keep asking that question. I feel like the people, you know, us on the phone, you know, some of us are here, like, kind of do it and kind of, but there are a lot of men I know coming up that it's just not happening. And you talking about 30s, I know people that's not going at all. Ain't no 30, 40, ain't none of that. You know what I mean? Ain't none of that counseling. So it's, You know, that's a real question, and I think that you do have a valid point. I know we all kind of responding from our own perspectives, but that's a valid point that, man, waiting. If they are going, we waiting a lot longer. And
another thing I think that's important too is I think, and one reason why men don't go is I think it's okay. There's nothing wrong with being afraid. I think I've told this, you know, to a lot of students and people, you know, there's nothing wrong with being afraid. In fact, it's brave to admit it. There's wrong with not moving and letting fear hold you. That's wrong. But there's nothing wrong with being afraid. A lot of afraid men still did very brave things because they admitted that they were afraid, but they just faced it. You know, you just can't let fear control you, but you can admit it's there.
Yeah, I think too, man, when you talk about that fear, like, I'm using my experience, nobody else is my perspective. Like when you come from an environment where you can't really be open like that, you being open is a weakness. Because somebody might know what you thinking, they might know your next move, they might know what you doing out here. And when you come from that survivalist mentality, it's hard to really be like, shit, can I really even trust you? And then it's not false because we dealing with a lot of people who don't give a damn about you. So I might talk to you for my job's sake, but I can't holler at you when I'm at the crib, when I really need to talk sometimes. And who do we holler at? We holler at the people around us most times. And that ain't always the best advice. That's why Mikey, I wanted to Mikey, when you go back to his point, when he was talking about, you know what I'm saying, you might learn, you know, we talk hoes ain't shit or whatever we done learned. Like J. Cole, I remember he had a line, he said, a lot of the knowledge full of real niggas' wisdom. So we proceed. So it's like that thought, like, you know what I'm saying? When we listen to somebody that we consider real, thorough, you know what I'm saying? But they might not be telling us what we need. Sometimes it's just like, yeah, don't do this, don't do that. But it's crazy because we looking at these people, yo, OGs, as we say, your mentors, as we say, we looking at them as the real people that's going to lead us. And when we was in that survivalist environment, when we was in that poor environment, that shit worked. Let's be real. People don't know that. That shit worked. Because you don't want to trust the shorty because she might get you robbed. And then when you go to a new environment, you looking at shorties that's just nice. You like, man, you might get me robbed, shorty. Like, nigga, we in the suburbs. It's new. It's all new to us.
Wait, DJ, you trying to get in? You got something to say?
Yeah. That's case in point. Like, if you're in a survivalist mind state, like, your head's always on the swivel. So, like, you're paranoid. You have PTSD. Like, I was seeing something on Twitter. Like, somebody will look at, you know, that a long walk video by Jill Scott. Like, yo, that's mad romantic. That's dope, whatever. Another person look at that video like, yo, she about to line this nigga up. So it all depends on, like, how you look at it. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, definitely, because we got to understand that we have animalistic nature. And when you're in a survival mind state, you're at fight or flight. So a lot of times logic doesn't make sense. You know, oh, you know, this is a safe space. You know, we should be good. Like, nah. Like, I've never been safe before, so I'm not even sure what that feels like. I never knew what it's like to like just chill and relax. So like you're always on that. So you gotta deprogram yourself and then reprogram yourself.
I think another reason to go back to that question about why we don't go. I think a lot of us, a lot of the lessons we learn and how we learn to operate in the world is just to survive. It's not really to actually fix our problems. So when you think about that, like, okay, I'm afraid to walk around my neighborhood, so I'm gonna walk around with like this meat mug and shit like that, or I'm gonna keep my hood on, or like you learn all these things. It's kind of like a PTSD, but we're never taught how to actually fix that fear. You know what I mean? How to actually let go of those biases we have and things like that. So we're never introduced to solutions. We're just introduced to ways to just get, you know what I mean? So it's no secret, it's no surprise that we're not going to go to counseling or any other actual solution-based methods for getting through, deal with the pain.
And that's exactly why, like, when I went into counseling, like, that's why I love the program at UNC, and I wanted to learn so much more about strength-based and a solution-focused approach, because I know that, like, our community, especially men in period, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm sure because I've learned that, you know, even beyond just black men, there's other men in communities that also have this issue, this maladaptive thinking. You know what I'm saying? We always look at it from such a crisis, you know, as you said, such a fight or flight, you know, animalistic, you know, world. You know what I'm saying? We don't get the opportunity to be human. You know, even I was saying the other day, even in showing emotion, you know what I'm saying, we're not allowed to really show our emotions. You know, they're constantly controlled and regulated. You know, and I always say, I think that's the reason why people snap, because you've been regulating them so long that when they finally were in a situation where regulation was needed, there was no resistance. It would, you know what I'm saying? It's like you overdid the brakes. They were washed. You know what I mean? But you know, so again, you know, when we talk about value yourself, man, I think we all, yeah, Brian, I see you, man. You know, your diet. One of the things that I get, and I get a lot of slack on it sometimes. Like, you know, I guess I'm one of the brothers you probably wouldn't like, because I didn't really take to black as fuck. I don't like reality TV. I've come a long way. But for a while, I was really, really anti to the new rap music. I started to understand a little bit more. But for me, representation, what we see. Our diet is not just what we eat. You know what I'm saying? You could be on Herbalife. You could be going to the gym 6 days a week. But you're feeding yourself all that disgusting stuff on TV. You watching CNN, you know, you swallowing Trump 24/7, you know, eating all this social media. That's what I call it, when all you do is consume him on TV and just think about it. That's what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? All you're looking at is garbage in your mind, then you're feeding your mind trash. All right? So you're going to have an amazing body, and the most important muscle is going to be trash. You know what I mean? So it's really important to feed both. You know what I mean? That's why, and that's what counseling is. It's like working out your mind.
Yeah, I mean, garbage in, garbage out. You know, I'm very conscious on like what I consume. Like, you know, not just like, you know, as far as like what I eat, but like, you know, what I watch, what I listen to, stuff like that. If you even think about it, like at its simplest form, like hypnosis, you get a rhythm going. You get a rhythm going, and then you lull them into like a trance-like state, and then you say things over it. How is that not music? So it's like the same thing. Like the stuff that you listen to, like, oh, like if you listen to, I don't know, I sound like an old nigga right now. But like if you constantly like listen to like a bunch of degenerate music that's promoting a degenerate culture that's degrading our women, that's degrading yourself, you know, like I think rap is like the only genre that like this is the listener. And I love rap, but like
don't do that.
You're
Don't
not
do
gonna,
that.
You're not gonna call me a broke ass nigga. You're not gonna call me a broke ass nigga.
That's not hold on. We're not gonna do that to rap music. Because there's rock and roll that's trashy. You know, there's always trashy music in the genre. I'm gonna tell you, maybe that's the rap music you choose to listen to. But there are artists that are not doing that. You know what I mean? You gotta stop.
I know. I'm just saying.
You chose to lead with it though, so I just, you know what I'm saying. And remember, we were trying to be positive.
I'm just saying, like, just keeping in mind, being mindful, you know, not to be Debbie down, but being mindful of like what you consume, what you listen to, who you're around. Oh my God, like who you're around. Like, you ever noticed, like, there's certain people that you're around, you feel dumber, but then there's other circles you get into a discussion and you'll like realize like, yo, I feel smarter right now. You'll be saying things and like it'll be profound to you because you just ciphering with like a bunch of like higher elevated individuals. Like that happens. Like energy is so real. So like just constantly just trying to continually better yourself is so important. I can never say it enough. I'm done talking.
I just wanted to say to DJ's point that like it's not about being positive or negative, it's just calling out what it is. So like if he says like hip hop music is trash, obviously it's not all. Like we have our J. Cole's, we have our Kendricks and things like that. It's just referring to the people.
I just want to argue with you.
Oh no, but I just for the sake of like, anybody that maybe listen that might not get that nuance, like because I don't like when we say like, oh, white people are fucking up. Well, not all white people. Yeah, we know it's not all white people. We're talking about the white people that are fucking up. So I just want to make sure we made that point.
Gotcha. Yo, so I know Chad wanted to say something. I just wanted to just say, yo, I had a lot of notes, and I really appreciate that. Whenever you guys talk, you're actually hitting the points that I was going to speak on. So it's like you just doing it for me. So thank you so much for that. This is really like flowing, like it's like a freestyle, like it's just going.
Hey, I don't agree with none of y'all. I love me some trap music. That shit therapeutic. Like,
hey, can I talk? Can we talk about that for a second, real fast?
bruh, what? Like,
how did
some Future?
I be therapeutic?
Some comments. Like, it's the. But you know what I will say? You right. You ain't wrong, Dwayne, when you was talking, because sometimes you get to feeling it. You know what I'm saying? You get to really feeling it. Like, damn, I'm finna. Yeah, like in it. For me, it's like even when you talk about J. Cole or you talk about K. Dot, they still got music where you like, you know what I'm saying? But I've been a big trap music fan because I feel like, hey Mikey, you echoing. I feel like a big trap music fan because it's speaking my reality, and I'm gonna be real with y'all and transparent because I came up through that. Like, yeah, I'm in this PhD now, but I came up through hustling. You know what I'm saying? And I'm okay with saying that with myself. But like, so when I hear that, that shit real. And it may not be what it needs to be, but it's the story. It's so somebody's like, story. So it's almost like if you saying I don't fuck with that, I don't fuck with your stories. And I ain't saying that because we know a lot of rappers, as we say, capping they raps.
Yeah. So Tad, it's actually funny you say that though, because I've been kind of in communication with some guys. There's like a lot of work with hip hop and therapy. And one of the things that people have been talking about, how like hip hop lyrics can be therapeutic for people. Like me, you know, I never trapped or nothing, but I still related to a lot of that music, you know, Mobb Deep. You know what I'm saying? I got to get away, you know what I'm saying? Shook Ones, you know what I'm saying? Illuminati with my mind, soul, and my body. So, you know what I'm saying? Like all that stuff. I think about that stuff. It helps me think. It used to help me push through, like when I'm writing and getting through, when I'm in them jams. It just motivates me to push through. So I feel you.
I remember. No, word up. I remember my brother got killed. A little short story. I went home to visit my brother, Kels, and we came home. One of my other brothers, KJ, came. He picked me up. He said, "We finna go see Kels." Kels was at his baby mama house. We go see him, and then my bro KJ say, "Hey, bro, what's the name? Having a baby shower down the street." We left for 10 minutes. Between that 10 minutes and that time frame, my brothers was killed. So it's like, and you know what we did that night? We listened to YFN Lucci. The whole night. We sat in the car and we cried. We ain't say a word. We listened to trap music. So it's like, it could be really healing. We could have been on some, let me go grab a gun and, you know what I'm saying, shoot up the neighborhood. We just sat in the car and we couldn't believe what happened because in the music at that time, it was actually the one song came on, we listened to the whole album. So it's like, this music, we can't discount it because it's such a real story. It's sort of this notion, you remind me, Justin, it's sort of this notion where I kept seeing this meme go around that said, Jeezy, what they talk about when they get on my boy Jeezy, they say he taught y'all to trap, but he told his son to go to college. And that meme go around heavy, and I'm like, bro, he talked his truth. And I can't control the next man. Like we've been sitting here talking about even us on this call, like we are different Black people. We come from different spaces. Like if I talk my truth and my truth is my truth, like I can't really get away from that. You know what I mean? And I respect people that talk their truth, even though I do turn on some shit and I'm like, man, get this trash out.
Nah, but you know what though, man? And it's kind of funny, man, because, you know, like we talked the other day about how, like, you know, when sometimes in education spaces where, like, we feel hemmed up that we can't be ourselves. So I think, you know, when talking to value of self, and just as men, like, we need to really be more cognizant of that, like, how quick we are to pigeonhole someone else, you know what I'm saying, but when we want that same respect for ourselves. My bad, Mike, I see you, man.
Nah, to Chaz's point, like, you're 100% right. It's crazy because I was literally just having this conversation with my girl the other day. I told her, because she always makes fun of me. Yo, why you always watch like gangster movies? Why you always watch like Paid in Full and all this kind of stuff?
She try to call you out?
Yeah, she's like, that's all I ever put on. Like whenever it's my suggestion, it's like that's all I ever put on. And I tell her, I'm like, yo, like I've been around the country. I've been away from home for almost 7 years now. That's my only way to feel connected. So it's like I'll be driving around just 8 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock at night. I'm blasting like Dipset, or I'm blasting like 50 or whatever the case may be, just to make me feel like I'm back in that place. Because a lot of times at work, I can't be myself. I can't communicate like this. I can't use the dialect that I'm used to or whatever the case may be. So it's like that's my moment. When I put on that album, like that's my moment. Like over the wintertime, like all I would listen to was Moneybagg Yo, because it was just like my chance to just be as good as I wanted to be, and I did not have to be like at work. Like that's all I could do. That was my getaway.
I mean, for me, I listen to Wu-Tang and Nas heavy. I mean, before I would go to class, I mean, you know, the demographics is tough. You know, it's 25 students, 2 black males, and you know, 1 white male. You know what I mean? So I'd be in the car listening to Triumph, Wu-Tang. We're gonna Triumph. We're gonna get through this. You know what I'm saying? Bomb atomically in there. You know what I mean? And if you see me walking on campus and I got my headphones, you wonder why I'm walking like I'm walking, because I feel like I'm gliding on air. You know what I mean? Like I feel like I rule the world. But again, and keeping with the trend that you guys always hit on what I was talking to, as you brought up talking about, you know, your girl, I kind of want to transition now to about respect for ourselves, you know what I'm saying, and proper value of women. You know, the discipline, fellas. Like when we want to talk about improving ourselves, you know what I'm saying. So we talked about knowledge, you know, reading, you know what I'm saying. I'm looking at getting good representation. We talked about value of self, you know what I mean. You know, going to therapy, you know, again, you know, being healthy, being mindful of our diets. Now we're going to talk about how we kind of put this to practice, right? And I'm going to be honest. I think when I look at the fall of man, a lot of times it's because he's thinking with the wrong head, you know, and it gets you to a lot of trouble. You know what I mean? And yeah, y'all ready to talk about this? I can see. I think DJ, you was first, so I'm gonna let you go.
I mean, you can't, until you value yourself, you can't really value anybody else. And, you know, you got to really think about, you know, this is how I've always looked at relationships. Because I was either in the streets, like belonging to the streets, or I was like wiped up. So, you know, just being completely honest. So, like, when you value yourself, you value who you're with, because that's a representation of you. So, like, I'm not gonna act crazy. I'm not gonna talk to my girl any old kind of way, because that's me talking to myself. To disrespect you is to disrespect myself, because I'm with you. I chose to make a conscientious decision to be with you, to associate with you, to be seen with you, to do all these things with you, to share energies with you. And to disrespect you is to disrespect myself. That's disrespecting my decision making. That's disrespecting my judge of character. It's so, like, your girl is a mirror. Your girl is a mirror. And relationships are a school. You'll find out so much about yourself through somebody else who's with you all the time. I was just pointed out. So you definitely need to, like, value yourself, and then once you value yourself, you can definitely value a woman, and, you know, just treat her right, how you would treat yourself. Case in point.
I mean, that's, you know what, I'm actually gonna y'all go, since you all had your hands up quick. And Mike, you like talking about this, man. Let's go, man. What you got to say? Yeah, it's never.
Actually, unfortunately, this is gonna have to be my last point, because I actually have to head out. But I just wanted to make sure I made this point. First off, one, like DJ, you made a great point. Like, it starts with self first, and then you're able to, you know, do that for somebody else. You won't know how to treat somebody unless you know how to treat yourself correctly. And like, and I can't. You're so right. Like, I know so many people that, like, I see them like cursing their girlfriend out, or like I hear about them putting hands on their lady, or whatever the case may be. And it's just like, damn, like, you gotta think about, like, that's you. So you right. You hurting yourself in a way, right? But one point I just wanted to make before I head out was that I tell all my male friends this, like, be really mindful of, like, where you stick your dick. Cause, like, a lot of times they just like, oh, I'm not really fucking with her. I just, like, it's just some random chick I knew, da-da-da. I'm like, nah, bro, you can really catch a virus. You can get that girl pregnant. Like, there's so many consequences that can come from what you're doing. It's like, just think you're more than just like you're more than just a sexual organ. Like there's so much more to you. So value yourself as more than just this person that's I'm just trying to get bodies, I'm trying to do this, I'm trying to do that. Like really see yourself as a temple, see yourself as a valuable person that like you don't just give yourself up at any moment. Like, you know what I mean? Like really think about who you're sleeping with, who you're kissing, who you're even giving your time to. I mean, we talked before about like what you're consuming. Like if you're gonna spend an hour with this person, that's an hour of your life that you're gonna give. Is it really that invaluable that you would just waste it on anybody? So like really think about so really think about who you're gonna, you know what I mean, spend time with. But like I said, I gotta head out. So I really appreciate the time, everybody. Be safe, keep your hands clean, stay inside the crib. And you know, blessings to all your families.
Team, I always appreciate you, dog. You got something on here?
Man, listen, that shit sound good in the neighborhood, but I gotta keep it thorough. Like y'all, Dwayne ain't lying. Dwayne ain't lying. You know what I'm saying? Mikey ain't lying. But bro, a lot of shit changed when it's there. And it's in your face and you in the situation and you like, what should I do? What should I not do? And I think that y'all not wrong. That healing starts with yourself. And I'm gonna be real transparent on this talk because
Jazz, don't be putting no names out, all right? Don't be saying
no, I ain't never did nothing like that, dog. That ain't me, dog. But I'm saying like you go through this period, right? We've been talking about healing, right? And the fact that the reality is that like sometimes when you hit, you know how long the healing process takes. And let's say it's not always true because not everybody, you know, engaging in sex or relationships. But let's just say for the sake of this conversation, everybody is. You healing for that healing may take years. The healing may take years. You think you're not gonna link with nothing in years?
Well, no.
Probably.
Well,
go ahead.
So you saying? Are you trying to say that discipline is like that's not realistic?
No, I'm not. I'm not saying it's not. I'm not saying discipline is not realistic. What I'm saying is that it's a good damn chance your ass gonna make a mistake. And they ain't talking about cheating. I'm not talking about cheating. I'm not talking about abuse. I'm talking about there's a good chance when you're in a mutual relationship with someone, you're going to hurt them. And I think that
Why do you think that though? Why do you think it's no doubt that you're gonna hurt somebody?
Man, it's like the growth. Like when you first meet somebody and everything is always good in the beginning, like we talk about, but I think that you both go through this growth. You kind of get in this mutual partnership, you going through this growth. And sometimes it's crazy because sometimes it's like my mom used to tell me, like sometimes you meet people along the way to help you grow. You know what I mean?
This is very true.
It's like that might be I think the most hurtful thing to hear when I was in therapy, and I'm being transparent, was like, yo, listen, you suffer from certain insecurities or and you carrying that energy, bro, into this relationship. And the crazy part about it is it's such a part of you. It's so hard to dismiss this because it's you. It's ingrained inside of you. You've experienced these things. And so I'm like, it sounds good to be like, man, in a dream world, we would get ourselves together and we would go meet this person. But we're humans of habit. We love to connect. And even if I'm not even talking about just out here wilding in the streets. I'm talking about you want to connect with somebody. Look at us in social distances. People is going crazy because we don't have any that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, man, it's so deep to say like, yeah, y'all right. Like Dwayne and Mikey was so right. And it's like, man, I truthfully believe everything they said, every word. It's like, damn, bro, but that shit, relationships, personally for me, have been the absolute hardest thing and my most weakest aspect to my life because I'm trying to grow.
So you know what? To be honest, brother, I feel you on that, and I know, and honestly, I commend you, right? Because you have self-awareness. You know, I think at times like this, the issue with women is that we're not being honest because we're not being that self-aware. You know, I think I would tell a woman, you know, I can't give you what you need and you deserve to be happy. And that's why you can't, you know, I think, you know, this is not going to work because I can't give you what you need right now because I am trying to build myself. I am trying to be better. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think that's the problem. We're not being honest, you know, and that's how people's feelings get hurt because you're lying, you know,
Yep.
because the reason why you're lying is because, of course, like you said, we want companionship and we believe that if I tell you the truth, you're going to leave me because let's be honest, I'm not saying all women do. I'm sure there are a lot of women out there that are quite honest, and you know, I have come across some in my lifetime. But typically, it feels like when you tell a woman exactly how you're feeling, usually we are told that it should have been, you know, given differently. And the problem is when you're asking someone to be truthful and getting to unload emotionally to you, you can't, like I said before, it's not fair to put the, you know, these restrictions on them because you're never going to get genuine authenticity from somebody. And
We
to go back to the part with counseling, you know, it's important to build that rapport. This is such a big word with everything, rapport. When you're dealing with a woman, you know, or whatever, you know what I mean, with that rapport with the person, because I believe, and it's been proven, when you have the strong enough rapport with somebody, you guys can talk about pretty much anything.
Hey, I was watching, man, you so right. First of all, I was watching Angela Yee, her I forget what her podcast called. Oh, Lip Service podcast, and the rapper G Herbo was on there, right?
Oh yeah, I like you.
Yeah, I like G Herbo. He said that, I'm not gonna lie. He was talking about PTSD. You know, he in counseling. And he said, I'm not gonna lie. It was crazy because even when I was, you know, in counseling, whatever, it was like I go through the day, and he was like, I had to realize, like, sometimes my girlfriend, my wife, she get it the worst. I've been holding it in all day. I've been putting on this mask all day. And then when I come home, I just unload on her all my feelings, everything I'm feeling, and it's raw, it's rugged. So I think, man, bro, when you talk about love, bro, that relate, like, you gotta deeply love somebody to let them, like, and I feel like that's what I'm searching for in life. I'm like you, Justin, where I'm like, listen, I can't give you, I'm gonna just go ahead and exit because I can't give you what you need. But it's like, in my dream world, I would be with somebody that lets me be raw and vulnerable, because it's not, these things coming out are not pretty, but I'm with you where it's like most times we don't really, that's not really the thing. Like if you vulnerable and let me pause. I'm not saying anything about attacking this person or abuse, but sometimes, I just want to make that clear because, you know, some people go there with us. Cheating and abuse is the first thing they go to when we start talking about these things, which is another issue. But I'm talking about if I'm just in a space where I come home and I got it, whatever, I got anxiety. I need to unload. I need to cry. I need to be raw.
So I guess
people like
my only pushback is, I guess my only pushback is if we're truly exercising healthy habits, I like to think that the need to unload to that level is going to be reduced. You know what I mean? Because you're going to find other outlets.
Yeah. And that's what you right. Yeah. You know what it is? You telling facts right there. And I appreciate that pushback. Like that self-care, that's why. And even in G Herbo interview, he said that looking back on it, he just was so lucky to have a woman that was like, you know, I'm gonna stick it. But he said he realized, like, damn, I shouldn't have took that all in the house. You know what I'm saying? I should have dealt with some of that outside of, you know, what was going on. And you so right, because that was my relationships. I took it in the crib. Like, I want to cry to you because you thinking you in love. I want to cry to you. I ain't gonna cry to nobody else. So that, man, you speaking facts. So we got to do the work outside and get it right in. Then maybe bring a more packaged version to the house where we can, you know, deal with it. But you right, dog. That's real.
DJ, what you got for us?
Man, it's so crazy. You gotta really, and we gotta like really teach the next generation, like the youth and all that, like how to really deal with emotions, how to like deal with negative feelings, deal with just everything, just how to deal. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like we kind of like film with ourselves. You never see like positive outlets. We see, we may see, our parents fighting. You may see, mom's boyfriend putting his hands on it, like all kinds of stuff. And we just internalize that. Yeah, exactly. We got to really, figure out healthy ways to express ourselves and vent and release that tension and everything. We should never bring like what's outside in the home, no matter what it is. Like that's supposed to be our haven. That's supposed to be where we can be ourselves. That's supposed to be where we can, be vulnerable and be real. You know what I'm saying? And she should be able to feel the same way with us. So, it's definitely about really knowing how to channel your energy. Because energy is neither positive or negative. If you're really keeping the butt, energy is just energy. You can, depending on how you look at it, obviously it can be considered positive or negative, but you got to channel the energy.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So when you channel the energy properly, things are just more in harmony. You know what I mean? It's really that simple. I mean, it's simple, but it's not easy, but it's simple.
So I guess I want to mix it up a little bit, and kind of, because I promised people that we're going to give us some good takeaways, like, let's be honest, man. This day is a very over-sexualized society. When you think about what a kid can see on their cell phone, I think my nephew at 12 years old can probably see just as much as I can at 35, and I couldn't see all that at 12. I mean, I don't like policing women's bodies. You know what I'm saying? I really don't. I do think people, as we talked about with the trap music and other things, I do believe that we're all entitled to our form of expression. And I believe part of the problem with society is that we shouldn't tell people what to do. We shouldn't frame them to a degree, of course. But for me, I don't know if it's my culture or just my belief system. Sometimes I just feel a little bit different. Like, I don't know, man, like there's just a lot out there. And I feel like does that more incentivize men to be a little bit more antsy and needed? You know what I'm saying? Like, no, nobody, not thinking nothing on that. Oh yeah, I gotta. Thank you.
No, I was gonna ask you what was the question?
So no, I mean, I'm just thinking about like, I guess talk more about discipline. You know what I mean? I feel like a lot of men are driven right now just by that. Like when you look at like the goals of what we want, it's a lot of material possessions. You know what I mean? You don't really want the big house because you want a big house. You want the big house because you want to show off. You don't really want that big car because you like big. You like the car that needs it. You like the big car because you think it's a status symbol. You think it's a status symbol makes you more powerful. Well, power brings women. It's just this down in nature. You know what I mean? Like, how do we break that habit? How do you get to a point where, and I believe this kind of goes back to self-value too, where you kind of you doing this for you, you see yourself, you know what I'm saying, as a trophy as well, and you're not so chasing after something.
Man, bro. Like, it's like, man, we in a society that's sort of, hold on, let me not even go there with the external shit. Like, inside of us, a lot of us, we've been taught that our worth is in what we have. You know what I'm saying? The top drug dealer got all the women. They got all the shit we want. You know what I'm saying? We've been taught our worth is inside of material possessions. And I was reading a post that really had bothered me, but I bothered me in a good way. It was talking about patriarchy and men, and it's like they were like, we talked about this a little bit, Jesse. We talked about this a little bit yesterday on the phone, but this whole idea that this patriarchy exists, and we sort of complain about this is gonna get deep, but it's like we as men, this patriarchy exists, that is this, and we sort of exercise it, but we also complain about it at the same time. And I think I'm at this point now where it's like I want to dismantle it. I do have privileges just by way of being a man. I mean, I told Justin yesterday, but I don't have privileges the way a white man exercises male privileges, and don't even get us started. That's another hour. But it's it's so deep because we've been taught to value that, and let's be 100. That shit in the music, like Dwayne was talking about earlier. It's in the music. It's on Twitter. It's on Facebook. You can't pay no rent. Oh, I ain't fucking with you, dog. And then when it's like, damn, you know what I mean? It's like we taught to go get it. We taught to go get it. So when we start to go get it, it's almost this disconnect. Because I'm like, well, now I'm going to get it, and you complaining about that. Now I don't got time, or now I ain't got. But I thought I was supposed to go get it so I can pay the rent, so I can do these things. So it's like we've been taught too, like and I will say this is very true. Through the realm of patriarchy, we have been taught this. But let's put a label on that. Through the realm of white male patriarchy, we've been trying to strive for something that we probably won't get. Probably we can't obtain. We never gonna be. Me and none of us on this phone. I'm never gonna be a white male. But we got people striving for that shit because we want the American dream. We're not gonna experience it in the same way, and that shit tough. And we learn it though. But it's tough because when you go home and you say you going through a struggling period, and you hustling, you trying to get there, you getting attacked during that time trying to get there. Like, I'm trying to get to this paper. I'm trying to, and so I think that over time it's external and it's innate too. But we over time we develop that mentality like, well, damn, if everybody gonna leave me because I ain't got no fucking paper, I'm finna go get some paper. And then I'm gonna leave your ass because you wasn't messing me when I ain't had no paper. It's a cycle.
Oh man. So I gotta say two things and I gotta go. There's this comedian named Jeff Brown, and he said that I'll say just like he said it. He said niggas gotta stop letting their dick be the general manager of their team. Until we can do that, because if you think about it, like, you know, being from like mid-teens to like shit, some people now, like the dick basically dictated, no pun intended or whatever, like all the decisions that you made. It's like, okay, yeah, there was this girl I really like. Matter of fact, I'll use myself as an example. There was this girl, we friends now, but you know, we had to work through it. But it was between me, I'm dating her as like I was a virgin, she was a virgin, and there was the other girl that was willing to bust it open. And I was just trying to figure out who was going to be, you know, because as a young male, you're taught that you need to get rid of your virginity as soon as possible. That's bad baggage. You got to get rid of that joint. You got to get that monkey off your back. So I ended up choosing the girl that was willing to put out and played the other one that wanted to remain pure. And I remember before, I guess we kind of like laughed it through, but I remember she was doing like some rant on MySpace that shows you how long ago it was. She goes, man, that nigga DJ played me. And I'm just like, oh, damn, I'm in the room. She goes, oh, shit, I forgot I said that. I'm like, no, you didn't. But it's just like having, and mind you, the one that, you know, that was my first, we don't talk now at all. At all. And it just kind of shows you how we place value on like the small things that don't really matter like that. Like we're ruled by our lower nature. We got to cut it out. Shit, what was the other thing I wanted to say? I mean, y'all can comment, y'all can chime in. We'll come back to it.
I mean, for me, I think when you find more purpose in your life and you got drive, that's gonna take over. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, if you're watching the Last Dance, for example, there was an episode where Michael Jordan was getting criticism for making fun of his teammate, Scott Burrell, and he was like berating him in the locker room, talking about, yo, you need to get some sleep, man. That's why you can't ball, man. I just want you to be good. He said, you know what I'm saying? Mr. Burrell's a lover boy over here. He don't get no sleep. He's like, yo, MJ, chill. Yo, my parents is watching. So your son's an alcoholic. Drinking, you know what I'm saying, smashing chicks. But he's a terrible basketball, well, not a terrible basketball player, but he never got to be there. You know what I'm saying? Why? Because focus. You focused on that, you can't do this. You know what I'm saying? We look at a lot of great men. Their downfall has been, you know, you're chasing tail. You know what I'm saying? You should have been focused there, you know? I don't want to, I think he is a good person. I think he would respect it. The great Kobe Bryant, his downfall was almost chasing women. In fact, that last championship with him and Shaq, a lot of turmoil in that locker room was around his whole case involving that mistake he made. But when Kobe, he cleared that, he got himself correct, and he focused. He became one of the greatest we've ever seen. A lot of great men have fallen chasing women. Chaz, I got you. What?
I was thinking this connection. I was talking about material possessions, right?
Mm-hmm.
And y'all both was talking about basically our dicks and going to get it and whatnot, chasing tail. And I was thinking that maybe it's not necessarily the women. Like, women talk about this to me. Maybe you seeing them as trophies, right? Objects. Well, I'm talking about material possessions. I want all of a sudden somewhere it's like women have, not all of us, but to some of us they became objects.
Like Pokemon, got to catch them all.
Yeah, like it's like their object, and even when it's like it don't even matter. Like I was telling somebody, a man can have sex and feel nothing. It's the bang trophy. Like, you know what I mean? So you talk about Kobe. Damn, I don't even want to talk about my dog. That's my dog. But you talking about Kobe?
No, Kobe. We're not doing.
No. Listen. No, that's my dog. I'm talking about maybe in that decision that we talking about or whatever. We don't even know the real facts of it. We don't know what he was thinking that day, but we just know, like, what we do know about Kobe is Kobe loved trophies. He loved real trophies, and metaphorically, that might have been a trophy. You know what I'm saying? That woman might have been just a straw. He was obsessed with that.
I see what you.
So
I got you. Okay.
Oh, yeah. I was like, we gotta see. No, I ain't never. That's my stuff. But I'm like, we gotta start seeing, and we don't know. Let's make that clear on here. Like, we don't know what Kobe was going through, but we gotta make it clear. Like, I think too, we sometimes see women as like an object to just do what we gotta do, and it don't even feel like nothing. We just out of there with it. So I'm thinking, like I kept saying material possessions, and I was like, damn, I'm talking about houses, cars. People talking about, what we talking about? Houses, cars, and women. Those three things. One is a human being, but we put them together. You know what I'm saying? I need a house, cars, women. So y'all made me think of that. Like, damn, we talking about objects. That shit.
So DJ, what you gotta say? I know you gotta go.
Yeah, this is my last thing. And I gotta go for real. But yeah, like even from like Disney, like they basically set it up to set women as like not only like a trophy, like something to go after, like a prize to be won, but also a status symbol. Like there's people that like they'll get with a good looking girl just so they can get a better looking one. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the nature of the beast. So it's like, we have to really view them as human beings. Like that's somebody's daughter. That could be somebody's mother. You know what I'm saying? Like we need to really like appreciate them for being human beings. Like they're not just another car, not just, something that's expendable. And yes, some women look at us as expendable, but we need to rise above that. We need to be adults. We need to be better men. Just period. Sometimes you gotta walk away from, arguments. But yeah, we've been like, we gotta again like deprogram ourselves and then reprogram ourselves. But yeah, it's my time, yo. Appreciate y'all. Y'all be safe.
No, always a pleasure, brother. Yeah, so I was actually we're actually getting to our last point, which was accountability. You know what I mean? I mean, we talked about a lot of things today. We talked about, knowledge of self. We talked about self-value. We talked about, discipline in our relations with females, with women. Things that came out. We talked about reading books, therapy, healthy workout habits, and judging your own way, going at your own pace, and not necessarily trying to copy someone else's. But now, Chaz, I guess you can just leave your mic on now. We don't even need to, go back and forth, just me and you. As we close out, man, and when you think about accountability, man, like how can we be more accountable to each other?
Yeah, I know we've been chatting. It was crazy because it was like us four. We got into it. It was some therapy between us. So I
I knew
ain't
this is
even
gonna
mad.
happen.
I ain't even mad. Like I was like,
Yeah,
I probably
thank everybody
needed that.
for sticking around too. Shout out to Jarrell. I see you out there, boy. Yeah, man. Everybody that's still with us, man. Appreciate that. And all y'all that download and listen on the podcast, thank you too.
Yeah. Just really like the last point for me is like, when we talked about self, we talked about all these things, and I think that accountability got to start with yourself. You know what I mean? Every day you wake up in the morning, it got to be what I need to do to get better. And I've also been at this point in my life where a lot of times I used to blame all these other situations, like this person made me mad, or this girl made me mad, or this teacher made me mad. And I'm at this point now where it's, well, what could have you done in that situation? What could have you changed in that situation? You know, so that's where I'm at. And I'm like, every day I wake up and it's like what I'm gonna do to get myself better. And that's kind of like Definitely. My last point is every day I'm waking up. But the crazy thing is when we make mistakes, because we humans, and even with that, I'm like, damn, all right, you got to get right. Like, what, you slipped up, you know what I'm saying? And therapy, for one, helps me because I'm able to process what's going on, but just being accountable to myself, because like we've been talking about this whole time, ain't nobody in charge of nothing but you. You in charge of you. And until you hold yourself accountable, ain't nobody gonna be. I can tell you, or you could tell me all day, Justin. I can tell you all day, hey, you need to change this. But until I feel it, I'm not. So that's where I'm at.
I mean, that's the first thing that's one of the first things they teach you in therapy is that a change comes from within the individual. You know, like some people may believe other theories, but that's one that I believe. You know, change is always on the individual. They have to be willing. They have to want to change. You know, you can do everything you want, but if they're not willing and wanting to change, the change is not going to occur.
Yeah.
I had another point too. I was just thinking, man. Damn, what were you? I hate when this happens. I really just lost my point.
Hey, that's where. Hey, sometimes it's just like that. You like, damn, wait. You know what? It's funny when you lose a point. Sometimes I'll be like, damn, it must have not been meant for me to say. You never think about that's my.
But also, man, I think a lot about we need to, you know, am I my brother's keeper? You know, seriously, you know, when we think about the time and society we're in and everything that we're seeing going on, I really think that we need to see more value in each other. You know, like I know me and you, sometimes we talk about the lack of men we see in education. Well, when we do see them, we need to make sure that we're doing, you know, what we can to make sure that they appreciate it, they feel valued and supported, you know? We can't be, I feel like sometimes it's like I'll be walking around, like, you can be in the most, you know, in all these great, you know, companies and schools, but walking through there is more nervous than walking through the hood, you know what I'm saying? Because you're alone.
Yeah.
So, you know, just giving each other that support, you know, so I say, man, congratulate a brother a day. Try that. You know, congratulate a brother. Raise the bar.
Say stuff like, I love you. Like, we don't say that. It's like, damn, it's really so hard for me to say that shit, dog. Like, really like, now I be with my brothers every day, people dying, bro, and bro, I love you, bro. And like you just said, I'm proud of what you got going on. We don't hear that enough from each other, bro. And when you saying that is a powerful thing, bro. Like you say, like I said, that healing starts within self. But you know, like when you say, like when we see each other, showing love to each other, appreciating each other, and respecting each other. But really, like you say, when you talk about accountability, being real with each other. What I told somebody is, and I tell my bros this, and I expect the same from them. I'm gonna tell you, you fucking up. If you keep doing the same thing, I'm gonna tell you that same thing. You're gonna get annoyed every day. I'm like, bro, you still doing that shit? Like, you know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna tell you every day, and it's gonna make you mad. And like I say, it starts with self, but you're gonna hear it enough. You're gonna hear it until we could be 60. I'm like, bro, you 60 still doing that shit? Like, you just gotta be, man. Gotta be
but
real.
not turning the blind cheek, though, man. We can't turn the blind cheek. We need to hold our friends accountable, and we need to encourage them too, not just hold them accountable, but encourage them.
Yeah, for sure. And I was gonna say, man, I appreciate it. Yeah, I appreciate it for real. Like, with this conversation, I feel like it was necessary for us to dabble in. And really, it's so crazy because it's like almost like healing happening on a live session. Really, it could have been a sport, but it's like right in front of somebody's eyes where you see this we let somebody in the space that don't often be let in. So I appreciated this conversation. I'm proud of what you got going on. I'm proud of what you're doing. I know we're gonna talk some more and do some more things and get better with the next
Absolutely.
one. But, and this was like it started a little late. It started getting lit. It started getting good. I was like, all right, we got the technical joints. We here now. So like I said, we just get better and better, bro. And I'm proud of what you got going on. And this like your podcast you got going on, and it's gonna be something, bro. If nobody else believe it, I believe it. You working with something, bro. And you just keep getting better every day and keep working at it. Word up.
Yeah, I appreciate that, brother. Speak life to me, man. That's what I want to be. That's what I meant to say, man. We need to speak life to each other more. You know what I'm saying? I can't stand when I see somebody trying to do something and everybody is around him telling him why it's not going to work. Why don't you tell him what will work?
Right.
He doesn't need to know what's not going to work. Like, damn, stop being a Debbie Downer, the maladaptive thinking. Let's talk solutions here. You want to talk to him, tell him how you can help the problem. You know what I mean? We don't need to acknowledge what's already there.
And every day we work. But yeah, go ahead.
But yeah, at this time, if anyone doesn't have any questions, man, like I said, I didn't realize we went over like that.
What we were supposed to go to? We started at 7. What is it? Damn.
What time is it?
8:50. It ain't as bad as I thought it was, to be honest.
Yeah, it's not. All right, nobody got nothing?
All righty.
Guys, it's been real. Thank you so much. This has been a Just Inspire 85 production.
Peace out, Brody. Hit my line.
You already know, man. Thank you so much for this.
Yep, for sure.